Sprint Car Racing's traction control detection device is here, it's been approved and is being used in competition. What does it look like? How is it fitted to cars? And what are the future plans for it? All of that and a lot more coming up. One of Sprint Car Racing's hottest topics right now is traction control and the efforts here in Australia to prevent competitors from using it. We've made a bunch of content on Sprint Car Hub about the topic, and if you haven't already, make sure you watch these videos before you watch the remainder of this video so you can get up to speed. If you have seen our previous content, then you probably would know that I've been pretty critical of not so much the device itself, but more so the implementation process of the device. Unfortunately though, as we mentioned in those videos, the device itself has had its own problems, but since we last made a video on the topic, the device has been refined, and since then an addendum recently was released by the SCCA to allow the device to be fitted to cars. That addendum is a 3-page piece, but I would say the two most important parts are that it has been tested and approved by multiple Australian engine builders, and the other most important part is that the SCCA rules have since changed, meaning that it is mandatory to be fitted to cars if requested by officials. As you can imagine, there's been plenty happening behind the scenes, and I think there's still some skepticism from competitors about how the device works and the rollout process. But for this video in particular, I really just wanted to show you fans or even competitors watching this what the device looks like and how it's fitted to cars. The SCCA National Tech Officer, Allan Bain, is from right here in WA, and he was happy to answer those questions along with talking about the complications of developing the device and also what the future plans are moving forward. Here's Allan now to talk all about it. You've got the loom and the device here. Do you want to just run us through how you hook it up and how do you get the data from it?
Yeah, certainly. Separate loom, just unplug the standard MSD and magneto plug. That just fits straight in. This cable runs up the roll cage, front roll cage leg, across the top or underneath on the lower bar. And we have access to it on the left-hand side near the A-frame. Mm-hmm. That, when we mount it, plugs straight in there. But this unit mounts onto the A-frame, between the A-frame and the side of the car on the left-hand side. It's clamped here, tied in there, and a third tie goes to the left-hand side down bar. And of course we plug that in. And it plugs it like that. This will be going over. It's all plastic tied, so it's not flopping around or getting in the way. Just before the car takes off, we turn it on. The green light is power. The blue, once that starts flashing, is data logging. Okay. It's logging data. And we download via laptop, plugging straight into the bottom here, through there. It has a GPS for time and date. Important if you're going to have a fight or an argument with someone. It's got its own battery, so it's not using power from the engine. Okay. It's got a laptop which obviously gets charged regularly. The looms are all numbered, so we can track the loom. I've currently got 2 units, obviously 1A and there's a 2A, both the same.
You've got 2 units total.
I've got a total 2 of these,
yep.
And I have 24 looms. That's what we have at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just a matter of spending more money and.
Yeah. And how long have you been working on this device?
Over 2 years, but 2.5 years ago. Well, we've had a few devices, but 2.5 years ago, we knew nothing. We just got told people are doing the wrong thing, and it was happening in America, it was happening everywhere.
Yeah.
So we took that at face value, and across the country, everybody said, we have to deal with this.
Yeah.
But no one wanted to put their hand up, so a couple of teams here and myself were interested in doing something about it.
Yeah.
So we talked to some electronics people, no one in the world has apparently been able to track the spark timing moving, being retarded. This current machine, the earlier machines didn't. We couldn't get it to work. We really had to go back to the drawing board. We did a lot of testing. We actually purchased a traction control device, an illegal unit, and we used that on a number of cars here in WA at practice and at other tracks. And then gradually worked out this unit, which now detects if that's happening, if it's any illegal movement in the spark time, which is what it's all about.
I guess the device has really been implemented here in WA, and it's happening. What about nationwide? Being the National Tech Officer, have you got plans, or what would you like to see happen, or what are the plans in place?
Nationally, we want depending on how many we end up with to start with, but we want to take it to all the states. If we continue down this same track, then we're going to have to purchase a number of them for each state. Also training of people, probably 2 or 3 people in each state would need to have. If you're going to have more than one, you'd have to have probably 3 people, because as a race comes out, you're taking it off, downloading, putting it onto another one. So there's some ways we can streamline it, but at the moment we're just trying to get some acceptance, because we did start off with some negativity. But I think we're a long way ahead of that, and the majority of the competitors have always been in support. So from my perspective, that's good. And just lately, it's going well.
I've had a relatively easy job at probably pointing out the flaws in the beginning, but now's an opportunity to share how, I guess, well it's going. You said that the competitors have received it quite well. Have you been in communication with other states and clubs about the progress?
Only through the SCCA. They had a recent president's meeting. I always bring everybody up to date when we had to have meetings.
Sure.
Where we moved a motion at the president's meeting for immediate placement in the Rulebook, to assist with the policing of this, so that it would stand up. Our Rulebook was never designed to cover exactly what we're doing.
Sure.
So we've improved on that in recent times.
Yeah, like with data logging and things like that.
Yeah, so you could data, you weren't allowed to do any of that sort of thing on a car. So we made it clear that except for SCCA approved detection equipment,
sure,
blah, blah, that sort of thing. So, but that's another part of the thing. So the states, through their presidents, I believe, are all up to date, other than this week's efforts. So I think that's all very positive. Not really sure until the AGM, where we really have to make some big decisions. We're already looking at another concept of a full harness for a sprint car. So it would be certified, and you can't modify it. We may have one loom, one harness, maybe 2 or 3 to cover a couple of variations.
That every car will always...
Yeah, this is not a rule. This is just being discussed. It's not happening. But it's a way of stopping the traction control illegal unit being fitted to a sprint car.
Yeah, wow.
The current unit has to be physically connected to a specific wire.
Sure.
And it's in parallel, can be series, but in parallel. So it's very clever bit of gear. So someone could have it in their pocket and plug it onto a terminal, twitch wires together, put it inside the TELTAC, put it inside the MSD, hide it in the harness itself. So if we can come up with a certified unit, a harness, then there's a good chance that would take away a lot of the need for all this equipment. Because if you look at the harness, you can't modify it, you can't add a wire, you can't cut it, you can't do anything. So that's another step that we may or may not go down. And every car would have to have one, of course, if they're a registered car, SCCA. From there, we may be able to go to a smaller data logging unit that has to be on every car. I'm wish list here.
Yeah.
This is not what's happening. This has not been voted on, hasn't been decided on. It's just part of the discussions about the whole traction control thing.
You must be quite proud, although it's had its complications to start with, you must be quite proud of where you're at now.
I am, yeah. Like I said, 2.5, 3 years ago, I knew what traction control was on a Commodore or something. But then you look online and look up some of the stuff and you go, well, wow, that's clever. But no one in the world has been able to do this, we're told.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interest from the major groups overseas in what we're doing. That doesn't mean they're going to buy it or anything, but that's the potential. Everybody, all sprint car racing, I even believe late models, speed cars, everybody has potential to, has this problem, I believe.
Yeah.
Not everybody's doing things illegally.
Yeah.
But if we can deter it is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Have you always only had two? Were there more to start with?
We had one to start with, and now we've got the two. But I have a budget each year, an allowance, which I keep trying to push up to get more. But again, for me, when I'm fitting these to cars and mounting my cars, I'm not doing my normal job.
Sure.
Which is checking the safety gear on the racetrack, which is what doesn't happen in every state. That's what we do here. Checking tyres, all those sort of things. So
this takes time and effort and energy from.
It probably takes 60 seconds to put that bit on.
Yeah.
The car's already got the loom on it.
Yeah.
But then someone's got to take it off again, and if the car comes in the pits, you've got to go up the pits to get it. It's not on the infield.
Yeah.
And we fit them on the infield so that the drivers don't know who's getting it or when. Yeah. We can just walk up and go, that car.
Yeah.
And so it's a deter. I only got two, so I fit two. That means anybody else that's playing games can carry on playing because there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. Can you talk? How much does it weigh?
That's just over 1 kilo.
Was that a concern for you? Weight when?
It was always a concern for me, especially having it up. Thing.
Yeah.
We want to find another spot for it. I want to get something that's small enough to just hang on a clip or something under the bonnet.
Sure.
With a short loom and done. But again, people think we're there. We're not. This is still the beginning of where we got to get to.
Yeah.
If we continue. The cheapest and easiest thing to do is go do what you like.
And one thing that we haven't touched on is you've sent it back to KRE race engines, Maxwell race engines in South Australia, and obviously the Kendricks have tested it as well. They're all happy with both magneto and
crank trigger. Yep, 100%. We made adjustments to the unit because there was an issue with the magneto side, but I don't understand it enough. There's a major difference in the resistance between the crank trigger and the magneto.
Sure.
Some people call it generator, but so that's where the issue lies. We've fixed that, and all three have tested it on dynos and different engines, different MSD boxes, all sorts of things, and are 100% happy that it doesn't interfere with the ignitions. I hope you all learnt something out of that. We at Sprint Car Hub really enjoy giving you guys some insight that you wouldn't get anywhere else, and we really appreciate the support. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram and X, and make sure you click subscribe right here on YouTube for more. And if you really want to support us so we can keep making content just like this, make sure you head over to sprintcarhub.com and grab your gear. Oh, shut up. Does he have to do that now? Does he have to do that now?